Hello, football fans, and welcome to the Fast Break Kids. Once again, I am Wiley Lewis here with my Week 10 NFL picks. Now, you're probably wondering, Wiley, where were you last week? And I'll tell you, if you follow me on Twitter, I tweeted out that I was on a mission trip to Mexico. So I've been gone for several days, was unable to make a video for my picks, but the good news is I only missed 2 picks the whole week. I'm back. Maybe it's maybe I just need to stop making videos. Maybe that helps. Just kidding. But so far, been successful. I'm in the 91st percentile on the ESPN Pick'em standings, whatever that means. But solid 78, 53, and 2. That's right. We've got more ties. It's just been ridiculous. 2 is too many. And I'm done saying the word 2. Now, let's get to this week's picks. I did pick Baltimore to beat the Browns. Obviously, this is coming to you well after that game. I did pick Baltimore. If you don't believe me, if you need proof, I can tweet out a picture of my pick on the ESPN Weekly Pick'em. Now, moving forward, because I'm not even going to discuss that game. The Ravens didn't look great. They beat a just terrible Browns team, clearly the worst team in the league. Still winless, by the way. Sorry, Cleveland, you can't have it all. But let's move forward. Atlanta at Philadelphia. Philadelphia has been really weird, and I think it goes along with the having a rookie quarterback and a new head coach. They started out strong, but now the league's starting to catch up to them, and that's what happens. And I've said it over and over again. This league figures you out. You have to stay on top of your game, and you have to consistently evolve in order to stay successful in the league. Carson Wentz has to do that now because people are starting to figure him out, and this team as itself, as a whole. Losing to the Giants, who are 5-3. I'm going to get to them later, but wow, go figure there. Falcons, 6-3. I like them. I said it a few weeks ago. They are for real. I think, obviously Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, that's golden. Just keep doing what you're doing. But the addition of Mohamed Sanu looks like a good pickup. Not any sort of game changer, but he is a tall target that Matt Ryan can throw to on the off chance that Julio Jones is not open, which is really never. But yeah, I like Atlanta in this. I think they're playing great, even though it's on the road. Philadelphia, really iffy right now. I'm taking the Falcons. Chicago at Tampa Bay. Chicago with one of the stranger wins against Minnesota on Halloween night, nonetheless. Jordan Howard just goes off. They totally just blitz the Vikings. Vikings are having trouble. And the Bears sitting at 2-6. Now, Jay Cutler's back. I don't know if it's necessarily meaning that they're going to just go on a tear or anything like that. But John Fox, I think, at this point, would rather have Jay Cutler than Brian Hoyer. I've always thought that if you have a guy who's got a higher talent ceiling or a guy who is more solid, I'm taking the guy with the higher talent ceiling because if he can reach that point, he's clearly better than the other guy, and Jay Cutler is better than Brian Hoyer at his best. Now, is he going to be at his best against Tampa Bay? I think so, and frankly, it's not really if Jay Cutler is going to be at his best, but if Jordan Howard's going to be at his best. Because if Jordan Howard can do what he did to the Vikings defense, if he can do that to Tampa Bay, we're talking about a Bears win here. And I'm going to take the Bears because Tampa Bay, really, you can't trust them. I can't trust Chicago either, but Tampa Bay at home, they haven't proven that they can really hold their ground at home. I'm going to take Chicago. I like John Fox off the bye. Broncos at New Orleans. Denver's really struggling. Like, it's worrisome at this point if you're a Broncos fan, because that quarterback position, last year, they didn't have much going either with Peyton Manning and Brock Osweiler. But they had one of the greatest defenses of all time. This year, injuries are piling up. Aqib Talib is not going to play. Derek Wolfe is not going to play. They've got C.J. Anderson out for probably the rest of the season, if not the entire regular season. And Trevor Siemian not playing well at all. And Paxton Lynch did not look good in his one start. There's one start, so I'm not going to say Paxton Lynch is bad or anything. But Trevor Siemian is really, the wheels are falling off. And, it's not looking good. They're traveling to New Orleans right before the bye. New Orleans is getting hot. They're at home. Drew Brees and Michael Thomas they're making a connection. There's a thing there happening. And if they just get enough stops, if New Orleans defense just plays okay, they play middle of the road, they can beat anybody. Because Drew Brees is going to go down as one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. And he's playing great. Tim Hightower and Ingram together combined make some sort of a running attack that's formidable. And I think Denver takes another hit, and New Orleans moves to 5-4. Green Bay at Tennessee. Tennessee at 4-5, part of the mediocre AFC South. Just blowing it, just imploding against San Diego at the end of that game last week. That's right, I still watch parts of it even though I was in Mexico because I like football. Green Bay losing to the Colts. Go figure. Green Bay in Indianapolis. I was talking about it with another football fan, talking about how Green Bay and Indianapolis are kind of built the same way in the fact that they all kind of depend on their quarterback, and that's it. It's like, hey, Aaron Rodgers, can you bail us out because we got nothing else going on? Hey, Andrew Luck, can you bail us out because we really got nothing going on? And so the Packers lost, and Aaron Rodgers was not happy with his team's energy, said it was it was not good, and he can't have that. It was unacceptable. And said something about how the only thing that was good for the team was that squirrel that ran onto the field, which, they could sign him and he might be able to play running back eventually because they're just getting hurt all over the place. So it's tough, but I'm going to take Green Bay. I think Green Bay bounces back. An angry, frustrated Aaron Rodgers. I think he gets the team together, even on the road. And the Packers defense is one of the top rushing defenses, if not the top rushing defense in the league. So despite the fact that their defense, I don't really think that they're very good. They've been good against the run, and that's what Tennessee likes to do. So, maybe gives them a bit of an edge. And I think Aaron he dominates. It's a vintage Aaron Rodgers game, and I think they pull it out in a bit of a shootout with Tennessee. Marcus Mariota's getting better. Kansas City at Carolina. I'm taking Kansas City. No real ifs there. Carolina barely squeaked one out against LA, who suck. And Chiefs are just on fire right now. They should have lost to Jacksonville again, but you know what? My woes as a Jacksonville fan cannot blind me with the fact that they didn't win. So Kansas City got the win, moved to 6-2. Despite the fact that Nick Foles is not looking great. I know some people were like, hey, maybe Nick Foles could be better than Alex Smith. But he's done nothing to take that job, and I believe Alex Smith will be back to playing this game. Throwing his screen passes, throwing his 5-yard outs and slants, and then, going for maybe 250 and a touchdown and winning the game. But I like Kansas City in that game pretty easily. LA at New York. Whew. Wow, okay, there's a game. Fitzpatrick's hurt. Not sure if he's going to play. Case Keenum is not hurt. He's playing. So that means that nobody knows where this game's going to go. Matt Forte should have a pretty good game because he's got a heavy workload. If you've got him in fantasy, worth a try. LA is a tough defense, but the fact that they're going to be on the field a lot, you figure, just gives Forte more of an option, more of a chance to get the ball. I don't know what happens in this game. This is another game. This is a game that I could probably see going to a tie. Like a 13-10 kind of game that LA had last week. Really ugly. I'm going to take the Rams simply because I don't know. I don't even know why I'm taking them. I'm taking them off of a blind guess because at this point, these two teams are so unpredictable. You could throw a dart on a board and pick that. So I'm taking LA. I'm really good at this, aren't I? Minnesota at Washington. Minnesota, on a 3-game skid and losing a tough one to Detroit at home. You thought they had it late in the game, and then Matt Stafford pulls one out. Prater kicks a 58-yarder to tie it, and then Golden Tate breaks like 3 tackles and one of the weirdest dives into the end zone I've ever seen wins the game. Despite that, playing a Washington team that was on a bye last week, you can't trust them. Kirk Cousins, Captain Kirk, he's been playing okay, gaining a little bit of steam, but honestly, I can't trust the Redskins. And I feel like Mike Zimmer and this Vikings team, they got to figure out a way to turn it around because it's what seemed like a Vikings division title early on is now looking like they're holding on for everything that they can because it's slipping away. And the past 3 losses, I think what I saw was they're averaging around 12 points a game. That cannot happen if you want to win in this league. Thankfully, they're playing against the Redskins, who are happy to give it away. I think they're going to give it away again. The Vikings get a badly needed win on the road and improve to 6-3. Houston at Jacksonville. I've been going back and forth to this. Jacksonville, there have been a lot of games where they should have won. Houston's not very good. The entire AFC South's not good. Despite the fact that they've got a 5-3 record, I'm not buying them as any sort of contender at all outside of winning this crappy division title. I wanted to take Jacksonville, and at first I did take them. They're at home. I think they can, it's a division game. They'll cause troubles for Houston. But in the end, it's Jacksonville, and they're going to find a way to not win it at the end. That's what they do. They stay in the game. They keep it close. They pull close in the end, and then they fall short because they just don't know how to win a game. And I think Houston, coming off a bye, I think they'll win. And sadly, send Jacksonville spiraling farther down the power rankings. Miami at San Diego. Wow, Miami, welcome to the party. It was just like 3 or 4 weeks ago when you could have really thought that Miami was going to finish with maybe 2 or 3 wins. Now all of a sudden they're sitting at 4-4. Jay Ajayi is absolutely steamrolling everyone that he faces. I don't know where that was at the beginning of the year when I drafted him, but now that I've dropped him, he's really turning it on. But San Diego, I'm taking San Diego. I love Phillip Rivers. I love the way they're playing right now. They beat Atlanta in the Dome. They just came off of a big win against Tennessee, where Tennessee kind of gave it away. But you know what? They still won. That's the important thing. Chargers won. I'm taking San Diego as well. The weirdest thing about Miami, you don't hear about anything else besides Jay Ajayi. You don't hear anything about Tannehill. Nothing about Ndamukong Suh or their defense. All you hear about is Jay Ajayi. Don't think he has enough to get it done for them moving forward. Chargers really coming on strong as of late. I love Phillip Rivers. I'm taking the Chargers. Cowboys at Pittsburgh. Whoa. This one I'm having trouble with, guys. This is a really close one because on the surface, if it were anywhere else besides Heinz Field or wherever Pittsburgh plays, it might have a different name at this point. If it were anywhere else, I'd take the Cowboys in a heartbeat. But there's something about Ben Roethlisberger at home that is just unstoppable. Look at the numbers, look at the splits between his home and away. His stats at home are just ridiculous. And I want to take the Cowboys. I love the Cowboys. I love how they're playing. They're just eating up the clock and dominating people. And it's exactly what that slow construction of that offensive line has created is just a big, huge bulldozer just moving people out of the way and allowing Ezekiel Elliott to just carve people up left and right. So easy for him at this point. Not saying he's not talented, but man, Alfred Morris would be doing the exact same thing if he had the starting gig at this point. So, I'm going to take Pittsburgh because I see Ben Roethlisberger having a huge, big Ben Roethlisberger day. And I'm not sure if the Cowboys are built to really go go into a big slugfest where the ball is being shot around 45 times. Does Dak have it in him to throw 45 times a game? Is he going to have to throw 3 or 4 touchdowns? I don't know. But I think Ben Roethlisberger is going to try to turn this into one of those games. And if it does, if it gets to that point, I like Pittsburgh. Barely. 49ers at Arizona. Arizona coming off the bye. They're going to smoke 49ers. I like Cardinals easily. 49ers are just terrible. We can agree on that. Seahawks at New England. Whoa. Sunday Night Football. It's going to be quite the game, but I see New England winning this thing. Tom Brady still just too much. They're just too much. And the Buffalo Bills really moved the ball on Seattle late in that second half. Honestly, Buffalo kind of got screwed over at the end of the first half and at the end of the second half. Richard Sherman really blatantly hit a guy for pass interference. Should have been, or holding, whatever you want to call it. And then Earl Thomas bumped Robert Woods off his route well before the ball got there. Should have been thrown, but whatever. Referees don't lose a game for you. That being said, I'm taking the Patriots. I believe they're going to beat the Seahawks. Right now, it's just an immovable object right now. You just can't take out the Patriots. They're looking too good at this point. And Tom Brady, what can you say? Angry Tom Brady, we always talk about it. I was talking about it with Josh. You don't want him angry because he's just going to destroy you. Finally, Monday Night Football. Cincinnati at New York. I'm taking Cincinnati. You know, it hasn't been a good year for my Super Bowl picks so far. They're both 3-4-1. What are the odds of that happening? They each have a tie. One of them would be the Cincinnati Bengals. And frankly, I'm looking at the AFC North. Baltimore is bad. I don't like... They're just a notch above bad. Like, they're mediocre. They're mediocre enough, and they've been able to play the Browns twice. They've got 5 wins. They're struggling to hold on to that division lead. The Bengals have looked not great this whole year. Super up and down, very uneven. It was a very Marvin Lewis year. I should have thought about this and saw it coming. The Bengals, typically under the Marvin Lewis regime, have had this pattern where they play great one year, and then they just drop terribly, just sharply the next season, and then the next year they're back up there, in the playoffs and stuff like that, and surprising people. So I should have saw that coming. Now, that being said, I'm not going to change it because I'm not a wimp and I'm not a punk. I'm not going to punk out. Cincinnati, I like them against the Giants. I don't really like the Giants outside of Odell Beckham Jr. I know Eli's been really good at home lately, and that's fine and dandy, but they have no running game. Absolutely no running game. You just heard my phone go whatever, it made just a noise. But I'm taking Cincinnati. I like Andy Dalton coming off the bye. AJ Green should have a big game. You got Jeremy Hill. You got Gio Bernard. You got a pretty solid defense that's just not living up to its expectations from last year. I think they come out in the second half of the year firing. I think they take out the Giants, and I think this is their division to win. I think the Steelers, Big Ben's, healthy, but their defense isn't great. One injury and that offense can once again fall off, and the Steelers are in trouble again. So I'm taking the Bengals. I think the Bengals have a great second year of the season and hopefully get into the playoffs and get hot. So those are my Week 10 picks. Thank you for tuning in and watching me move my hand like this and move it around. I'm very expressive, so if you don't like that, I apologize. Just turn the volume up and don't watch the screen, and you can just listen to me talk. Hopefully you enjoy listening to me talk as well. Before I get off, just want to let you know, obviously, I apologize. It's been a while since we posted our last video, and I think it was me doing my picks from 2 weeks ago. It's been very busy, hectic time for us, but we're still here and we're still making videos. You know, we haven't touched the board in quite some time, so we need to get back at that. We've got a lot of reminiscing ideas that we want to get back to. We've only done one of those. We have our basketball preview video is just not happening. We filmed it. It didn't work out. The audio was terrible. And by the time we figured that out, and we couldn't really get anybody on track for the people to show up for us to do the video, so we apologize. We're not going to be making that. But we are still watching basketball. We are still paying attention. And we will be making more videos dedicated to the NBA because, gosh darn it, it's back and it's wonderful to have. And the Suns aren't too bad, so we can actually pay attention and enjoy it. So, thank you for tuning in to the Fast Break Kids. I am Wiley Lewis, and hey, keep it fun, keep it clean, keep it fresh. We'll see you next time, Fast Break Kids.